Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. If you have English as your first language and you have traveled to a non-English speaking country, you may have encountered some signage with questionable translations. Some of the translations are kind of sweet and charming, like this one. This is one of my favorites. Others are confusing, and some are just downright hilarious. Times are stressful right now. Here in Ontario, we have gone into yet another lockdown. People are suffering from pandemic fatigue. The vaccine rollout is going at the speed of sludge. We can use a laugh. So we are going to laugh at some questionable translations on signs. Let's get into it. Poisonous and evil rubbish. Any rubbish that is not placed into a proper receptacle, such as a garbage can, is kind of evil. Don't know about poisonous, but it's definitely a poison on society. It's a blight on society. So that may be a mistranslation. I'm not sure what the original was trying to convey, but I agree with the sentiment. Slip and fall down carefully. See, the thing with falling is that it happens when you're not being careful. The action of falling is inherently careless. It is not possible to slip and fall carefully. You can try and kind of arrest the fall after it starts, but I find that often when you do that, you end up hurting yourself even more. This does remind me of a time when I was a kid. I must have been 5 or 6. We were living in Connecticut, and me and an older girl, she was probably in grade 3 or 4, spent our entire recess one day trying to trip over the root of a tree so that we could fall and hurt ourselves and be sent home. But of course, because we were trying to fall intentionally, it just didn't work out. The thing about accidents is that they don't happen intentionally. It's right there in the name. Beware of missing foot. Okay. Not really a whole lot to say about that. If you see a foot lying around, try not to trip over it, or if you do, slip and fall carefully. Always thank the spirit of toilets. Is that a thing? Oh, wouldn't it be amazing if that was a thing? Imagine if there's like a toilet fairy who comes along and just waves a magic wand, and, you know, just like that, your toilet is clean and sparkling and everything smells nice. And I don't have a toilet fairy in my house. But if I had a toilet fairy, I would be extremely grateful, and I would obey the sign, and I would thank the spirit of toilets. Lounge for the weak. Okay, well, I guess if you're strong, you don't need a lounge. If you're strong, you don't have to rest. You know, but if you're weak, you know, you need a place to just sit down and get your strength back and, you know, just relax for a little bit. Before passing gas, I look behind me, but I don't bother when I'm smoking. So is this a sign about farting, or is it a sign about smoking? I guess there's a picture of a cigarette and the word tobacco there. So it's probably intending to convey the idea that we should be, you know, not be selfish when we're smoking and make sure there's no one standing too close to us or something. I'm not too sure what that sign is trying to say. Of course, passing gas and smoking are two completely different activities. One is an intentional thing that you do because you have that craving or that addiction to nicotine or whatever. The other is just a completely normal bodily function. All of us fart. You know, I fart. You fart. Do you look around you before you fart? I tend to try to avoid farting in public places. So, you know, this does not tend to be an issue for me a whole lot of times. But, you know, for some people, you know, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. Maybe if it is inevitable, just, you know, try to point your butt in a different direction, just to be considerate to other people. And if you're smoking, then, you know, you shouldn't be smoking around other people anyway, unless they are also smoking, or unless they have specifically said that they're okay with you smoking around them. When carrying a parasol, please be careful to get in the way of other people around you. Okay, so right now I have this mental picture of people being in public spaces just beating the living daylights out of each other with their umbrellas. And, you know, it could happen when it's raining and the weather's miserable and everyone's trying to get to work and, you know, people's umbrellas are, you know, just colliding with each other. You know, it can make you cranky. It could make the best of us cranky. No need to intentionally get in someone's way with your umbrella though, so this sign is probably trying to convey the opposite of what it actually says. Today is under construction. Thank you for understanding. Wouldn't it be great if we could actually do that? You know how they close off roads that are under construction? It's like, okay, you know, we're rebuilding the road. You can't go down this road today. And, you know, you could just have like a do-over if the day is a bit of a mess and things are getting in the way and, you know, nothing's working out. It's just like, you know what, today's under construction. We're going to fix it up and we'll just have a do-over tomorrow. I kind of like that idea. Please do not drop butt in the toilet bowl. This can mean two things. If you are smoking in the bathroom, please do not drop your cigarette butt into the toilet bowl. I suspect that's what this actually is intending to say, but it could also be asking you not to drop your butt in the toilet bowl. I don't know why anyone would, but you know, the world is a strange place and it has some strange people who do things that not everyone would think are conventional. Okay, so this looks like a sign at an airport and it's saying that this flight is delayed due to some reasons. That is probably one of the most honest signs that I have ever seen. Like, they're not willing to actually give you the reason, but you know, it's delayed. There's some reason. We don't know what the reason is, or we don't care to tell you, but it's delayed for some reason. I like this. I could get on board with signs like this. You know, they're not trying to make any excuses or, you know, they're just, you know, delayed, some reasons, deal with it. Okay, so this is also at an airport. To samurai, no sword allowed into aircraft. To business person of the world, sharp objects are prohibited on board except for your sharp brains. I think that's kind of genius because a lot of business people, and I don't want to do the whole generalizing thing, I don't want to be making anyone mad, but there is a certain kind of business person who has a form of arrogance about them and they don't want to be told what to do. Like, there are people who do not want to be told what to do. But if you appeal to their ego, they will listen to you. So they're saying, okay, don't bring any sharp objects on board, but you're really smart. So, bring your sharp brains, leave everything else off. Of course, the version for samurai is, dude, leave your sword at home. Don't bring it onto the plane. And I actually like how they have two different versions of this sign aimed at two different groups of people. What if you're a samurai who's a businessman, though? Be aware of invisibility. The invisibility of what? Do you have to be aware, like, if you go in the zone of this sign, do you become invisible yourself? And you have to be aware that you are now invisible to other people? Or do you have to be aware that there are things or people around you that are invisible? A little bit ambiguous, that one. And there's no original text there, so no one will be able to tell me what the original intent of that sign was. For all of the other signs that do include the original text, if you happen to be able to understand that text, let me know what the sign was actually trying to say. I'm curious about some of them. For some of them, you can kind of get it from the context, but on a few of them, it is a little bit confusing. Oh my gosh, please do not empty your dog here. So it's like you have a dog and, the dog is full. The dog needs to be empty. So you're just going to pick up the dog and, empty the dog, like you empty a glass of water into a flower bed or something. Do not empty your dog here. Jeez. I don't think that's how it works. If your dog needs to be emptied, you may not be able to choose the time and place. But please pick up after your dog if it does happen. Please pick up after your dog. People are eating children in this area. Please leash your dog and clean up after them. Thank you. Got to be considerate to the people who are eating children in this area. Kind of dogs making their messes while people are trying to eat children. I don't know if this is actually a translation fail. This could be more of a grammar fail. A period after the word eating would have changed the meaning of this sign completely. Ooh, ice boy taken to the streets. I have no idea what that sign is trying to say. I cannot figure it out from any kind of context. And what is going on in that picture? I mean, it looks like we can kind of tell what's going on in that picture, but put off your guilty shoes and come in the prison politely. So that could be some kind of philosophical message. You know, leave your guilt behind you, come into the prison nicely, serve your time, and, you know, when you leave here, you'll be a different person. That's one way to interpret this sign. But I guess they just want you to take off your shoes before you go into the prison. I hope they'll give you different shoes, though, because imagine walking around in a prison barefoot. It wouldn't appeal to me very much, unless the prison is extremely clean. I mean, it would have to be pristine, and I would have to be wearing socks. Very strange sign to put up at a prison, though. I can see it in places of worship and certain cultural venues. I can see them asking you to take your shoes off because it is a cultural, traditional thing for a lot of people. And that's fine. Prisons, though, please refrain from taking a bath when you are dead drunk. That is perfect common sense. That seems like common sense to me. I don't know if it is a correct translation of any of those other languages there, but I think that is very sound advice. Danger! If you fall in the pond, you will be boiled. Yeah, better not fall in that pond. What is it, like a pond of lava? That gives the term hot spring a whole new meaning. Good grief. Now I'm picturing the cauldron in Macbeth, you know, like the whole bubble, bubble, toil and trouble. Ooh. No matter how angry you are, no flicking over tables. Again, that seems like common sense. That seems like sound advice. I'm not sure where a sign like this would appear. It looks like in the illustration, it's like ice cream or something. There's food and drinks. There's food and drinks on this table. Is it in a restaurant? Have they had a problem with people going into this restaurant and being so mad about the quality of the food or the quality of the service that they just overturn the tables? You got to wonder about the things that make some of these signs necessary. Not allowed to pregnant. Okay, so wherever this is, you're not allowed to be pregnant there. The thing that confuses me the most about this sign is the picture. It's like the pregnant belly is not in front of the pregnant lady like you would expect. It's kind of on her lap. It looks kind of weird. Anyone caught exiting through this door will be asked to leave. I hate to break this to you. They were leaving anyway. They were exiting, they were leaving. If you want to punish someone who is leaving through the wrong door, you should get them to stay, because that would be the opposite of what they actually want to do. So you would have to prevent them from leaving. Cash or octopus? Wow. Okay, there's a whole new method of payment that I had not thought of before. Cash, credit card, debit card, PayPal. I know cryptocurrency is a new one that some people are using. And now you can pay by octopus. So if your credit card is maxed out and you don't have any cash on you, just, pull an octopus out of your purse and you're good to go. Not responsible if seagulls eat your funnel cake. That's fair, and things like that can happen. This sign might seem outrageous, but things like this can happen. 3 or 4 years ago, I was with my younger son in Cape Town. We went to the Cape Point Nature Reserve and we got something to eat at this little takeout place that they have there. And we're standing outside eating our food. My son got a pizza and he had this slice of pizza and he was poised to bite it. Like he had it right at his mouth and he was going to take a bite of his pizza. And a crow just swooped down and grabbed the entire slice right out of his hand and just took off with it. Oh, my poor kid was so startled. This could happen. And it's fair, no one can be expected to be responsible for the actions of a seagull. Steep slope, mind crotch. Okay, so first of all, it's a picture of the guy's head. I think they have confused their body parts in this signage. But you know, to be fair, if you fall down a steep slope, you could hurt your crotch. It could happen. So you should mind your crotch. You should also mind your head though, because a head injury is probably a bigger concern. Depending on who you talk to, I guess some people care about their crotch more. Lettuce in pain. Oh boy, what happened to that lettuce? Apparently plants can feel pain. There was some guy who did an experiment where he hooked up plants to audio somehow. I'm not too sure how he actually recorded the audio, but he captured plants screaming in pain. Please present your octopus. Wow, the octopus game is strong today. So you're paying for something, you got to present your octopus so you can pay for whatever you're trying to buy. I need to know where this is, where you can pay with an octopus. And I have a question here. Is it a live octopus or is it a dead octopus? What is the proper form of currency here? We need to know these things. Okay, so this is a two-step direction. Take the child, fall into the water carefully. So you're not just slipping and falling carefully like the other sign said. This is falling into the water carefully after you've taken the child. Now, presumably they mean your own child, or, you know, I guess it could mean someone else's child. Who knows? But, you know, this is the instruction. Okay. This just looks like an insult. Look out, knockhead. Okay, so right now I am mentally going through the different people in my life. And I'm trying to figure out who I can refer to as a knockhead. Because I got to try that name out on someone. It's brilliant. I know this sign is not actually intending to refer to a person as a knockhead, but it just sounds too good to not use. Don't stampede. I am so confused about the picture of the guy squatting on the toilet with the words, "Don't stampede." I mean, when you're in a situation like that, how do you stampede? Okay, so the person who wrote this menu is fed up. They've got the kumquat with lemon and they've got the fresh blueberry tea. But for item number 2, it's just whatever. They just couldn't be bothered to put it on the menu. Okay, and this one must have been written by the same person and they were having a bad day. So first they said, whatever. And then it's just, the ginger water. They were not in the mood for writing a menu that day. They were not having a good day. And that's it for today. I hope you've enjoyed these as much as I have. I do have a quick announcement, which is that this channel is approaching its 1st birthday. I would really like to do something special for an anniversary video. It could be something interesting. It could be something funny. I could do a 1st birthday giveaway. I'm open to suggestions. If you have any ideas, leave me a comment or connect with me on social media. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. It means the world to me that you are here. Have a good weekend, and I'll see you on Monday.